So I'm going to walk you through phase 3 of CityVision's course blueprint and weekly lesson design. This is where the vast majority of your work in the design of this course is going to be. So the estimated time to complete phase 3 is going to be 20 to 35 hours. So one of the things you need to do is write this section so staff from CityVision could copy your text directly into Canvas. So just keep in mind that this is just going to be a cut and paste. So you're writing this exactly how it should appear in Canvas. So part of what you can do is you can look at how things appear currently in Canvas to get an idea, and you need to be following our style guide for that, and I'll talk a little bit more about this. So in this phase, you're going to submit 2 to 4 iterations of this document for feedback. So we're going to focus first on iteration 1. And iteration 1, what you're going to do, and just read through the instructions. Basically, you're in this course. This is your assignment instructions. And just like you're a student, you expect your students to follow the instructions. I expect course designers to follow the instructions. So if you have questions, ask me. Complete a rough draft of the weekly titles, and you're going to do that down below, and allocate the core textbook readings between chapters. So up above, you will have put the textbook readings, and then you can allocate those. So down here, you're going to have the title. So you're going to update the title, and then you're going to put, the textbook readings. Now, CityVision, we have a style guide that you can follow, and for each component of the styles guide, so it's going to tell you how the title should look, how the lesson outcome should look, how the reading pages, web links, every component of these things, how they should look. So you need to be referencing that. But in general, you can just look at how things appear within Canvas to get the idea. So what you're doing in this iteration 1 is you're going to be going through and allocate the reading, and you want to have the titles for each week and the reading. And again, in the style guide, part of what we explain in the titles is the titles need to fit to one line in Canvas. So I've had some people who will write 2-line titles, and that just isn't going to work. But then the other thing you're going to do is you're going to focus on getting a rough draft of week 1 fully complete, and then get feedback. So now for each week, I'm going to want you to do a checklist once you're done. So I want you to basically self-assess, and I'll also assess it, but this is how essentially I'm going to grade you. The primary thing that I'm going to use to grade you. So do all the outcomes correctly follow Bloom's taxonomy terms that match the level of learning you are assessing. Linkage, are all outcomes linked to assessments? And you can see the example below, and where so these all use good verbs. It actually is the right level of verb for what they're doing, and there's always the assignment that is linked. So that's what we're looking for here. And then the third part is doing a revision. So usually I might write the outcome, then I write the assessment, and then I realize actually that outcome's not the correct way of doing it, or and go back and forth. So did you revise those so that you're correctly summarizing what the assessment's done? And then the last part is unassessed content. Is there any significant content in this lesson that doesn't tie to assessments? I've had some faculty that they just create a menu of all possible content related to that week's topic, and then they have 2 items. So there might be 15 areas that they cover in terms of the content, and then there's only 2 that are assessed on, and that's problematic because one, why would students go through all of that content, and 2, you don't actually know whether they've achieved mastery for that. So part of what you should do is to think about how are you going to cover that content. So what I want you to do for each week, as you get an item done, you can put an X there for that week if you believe that you've done that. So you're going to submit that to me in iteration 1. So you email me or if there's someone else working with you on this, you email and you say, iteration 1 is done. And what I'm going to be looking for is, so you're going to go through in iteration 1 and you're going to put in the new title. You're going to fill out the outcomes, following those best practices. You're going to have the read. So some of that's going to be, out of the book, but some of that's going to be additional articles. You're going to have the watch. There's always the title. Usually I write, we're focused on being user friendly. I don't copy directly what was in YouTube. I write the title, but I want to let them know how many minutes it is so they know what they're getting in for. And then you put the week 1 discussion. You have to put the discussion title. And here we actually have a template. So the week 1 discussion, most often we're going to have topics similar to this. So you can change this, but this is the week 1 discussion. And then you go into the assignments, and then you're going to have week 1 assignment, the title, and then you actually need to write out the exact text of the assignment. Now, if you remember what I said, I spend more than 50% of my time, about 75% of my time in course design. So if you're following kind of the best practice that I recommend, you're going to spend 75% of your time writing, really effective assignments and discussion questions. So I spend a lot of time on that. The other time I'm looking largely for videos and then a few articles. Usually the textbook is going to cover, the written, and then 5% I'll come back to doing the assessment. So in the first week, you're going to go through and you're going to give me that first iteration. I'll give you feedback, and then I'll say, work on week 2 or work on week 3. Now in week 2, you get to the live meeting. Now this material that's highlighted in green, this is just kind of your instruction. So you should delete the material highlighted in green. But for the live meeting, we provided a basic template. You can change this just like you did. And then for each week, you're going to continue to do this, in the material. And that's basically what you're going to do. So, and I'll let you know whether, we're going to do 3 iterations or 4 iterations. Some of it depends on, how quickly you're getting things in line with what we're doing. So, some of the things just to remember is, are you following City Vision Style Guide? In fact, I think I'm going to add that to this list because I think that's something that's important in how you implement that. So thanks a lot.